We're talking markets with Tommy Grisanti from ATI Pro Media. Tommy, appreciate the chance to connect. You're able to touch base with me while I'm on the road this week.
Mr. Wick, I'm so proud of you. You can spend the night at my house anytime you want. The way you fluff those pillows back there, you are on national TV, giving us a boots on the ground from the 100th National USDA. The stage is yours, Mr. Wick. Although I love to talk, I think you have a lot more things to say than I will on this episode. Go ahead, sir.
Pretty historic when you think about that. 100 years for this USDA Ag Outlook Conference. I think that's something to note just in itself. Obviously, a lot of focus on the economic outlook. Seth Myers, the chief economist from USDA, Tommy, kicked things off yesterday morning, talked about a softer farm economy, particularly going into 2024, talked about a continued erosion in farm prices. For 2024, projecting corn at $4.40 for an average price, down 8% from last year. Soybeans, $11.20 a bushel, down 11.5%, and wheat, $6, down about 17% from last year. Margins, a concern. He did say fertilizer prices down from where we may have seen in the past. Interest rates obviously moderating somewhat here, but when those input costs go up like they have been, they remain a bit sticky. That was the term he used during that discussion yesterday on just the general farm economic outlook, Tommy.
Interesting. So I've been to this. It's been many years. I have to say, I should have went with you because it's so exciting. You're right there in DC, and the access to people come popping in and out. You said someone popped in from the Fed. That's just an Uber right away. I mean, it's so exciting. You're actually in Virginia, right?
Arlington, Virginia, which
but you could walk across the street, I believe, and be at the Capitol. Yeah, it's so exciting.
You have Ag Secretary Vilsack that was here yesterday and moderated the session this morning. Catherine Tai, the U.S. Trade Representative, on the stage this morning. Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, unable to be live because he's involved in some global negotiations, but offered recorded comments this morning. Plus, that doesn't count all of the numerous speakers. I think they have 120 different sessions going on. I mean, it's a crazy number of sessions going on over these 2 days, a lot of concurrent sessions that are happening all at the same time. So a lot of great information and a big crowd here as well.
Were you able to put your microphone in front of anyone and do some breakout interviews, Don?
Yeah. One nice thing, as you mentioned, there's a lot of local folks from North Dakota or that may be familiar to us. Just sat down with Luther Markwick from the American Sugar Beet Growers Association, or James Callan, a lobbyist that represents a lot of ag groups, Howard Olson from Ag Country Farm Credit Services here. A lot of folks that we know from our own backyard at this conference. Plus, you do have access to the folks. Ag Secretary Vilsack had a news conference. I was lucky enough to get a couple questions in. A lot of Vilsack's speech yesterday focused on maybe we need to rethink how we do farm policy. He talked about this focus on bigger always being better, and that we always try to increase our productivity. And at the same time, to survive, we need to have a second job to stay on the farm. He said maybe we need to focus more on small, medium-sized producers, have multiple revenue streams off of that farm, like the climate smart agriculture programs that we are seeing advocated by USDA. When we moved into the news conference, I guess my question was, does that mean means testing? Does that mean we top out on farm payments or on crop insurance payments to the largest producers? And he was quick to shut that down, saying, no, that was not the direction he was going, that we can do both. We can walk and chew gum at the same time, focus in on the large commercial production operations, as well as the small and medium-sized producers. So that was one thing he talked about quite considerably. I also asked him about, he said there needs to be some more creative use of CCC funds. And I asked a little more details on what that meant. And he just said, at the end of the year, we've got money available in CCC funds that he thinks all the powers that be should sit on the table and see what's the best way to use those resources. We're leaving money on the table, basically. And that was the way he thought maybe we should be looking at that in the future.
That's fascinating, Don. And all this 2-day conference, 3-day conference, will it keep going? Today's Friday. There's everyone flying
2-day conference. Yeah. I find it. I love all the economic sessions that come out of here. Today, it's a lot of the commodity breakdowns: a grain, oilseed outlook, a dairy outlook, sugar, all the different commodities. Yesterday was more big picture. They did have a session just on the farm economy, and Nate Kaufman from the Federal Reserve Bank out of Kansas City was there. Someone from Farmer Mac, Representative Carl Zuloff out of Ohio State, and then an economist from USDA. And one thing I thought was very interesting is obviously farm income down in 2023 from record levels we saw in 2022. We're expected to see continued downturn in the farm economy in 2024. But Kaufman and the USDA economists both emphasized that farmers are in still a rather good financial standing because of the cash we had over the last few years here. They were able to build that working capital, and they're still in good financial position. The issue is if this drags into 2025, we still have a downturn in commodity prices, and by that time we work through a lot of that working capital, then we are going to see some more trouble in agriculture, but not so much here in the year ahead, at least according to these economists.
So I want to add to that. Did you hear much talk about interest rates? Because the amount of money it costs to borrow is 3 times what it was over the last 12 years. So we have commodity prices that are now at new 3-year lows and interest rates that are at 15-year highs. Do they talk about that, or they just kick that under the rug? As we
No, there's a lot of discussion on the interest rates. In particular, I was on a session yesterday, or at a session yesterday on the livestock market, and they were talking about, this cattle herd being at a 70-some-year low, but it's hard to expand when you're looking at what kind of financing it takes to increase production, because that buying cattle is a lot more expensive today too, and that interest rate discussion really influences the ability to expand in today's cattle business.
What's interesting, Don, real quick, if people want to get a hold of us, of course, they can chat with us or post a comment or a question. And you are Mr. Don Wick from the Red River Farm Network. How do people get a hold of you, Don?
Check us out online, www.rrfn.com. And we have a newsletter goes out every Monday. Just shoot me an email, don@rrfn.com, and we'll get you added to that newsletter. We have a lot of great information, including what's going to be coming out Monday as it relates to this forum.
Can't wait. Everyone, Don Wick, Red River Farm Network, Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, ATI Pro Media. Of course, if you need to get a hold of us, 1-855-737-FARM, info@ATI Pro Media. If you call that number, I'm in a good mood. If you're watching this video and you call that number, I have a brand new American flag I'm going to give out. Call that number. We want to send a flag for in honor of one of our patriots, Mr. Don Wick in the United States Capitol. America still the best house in a bad neighborhood called this world. Mr. Don Wick, thank you for reporting in. And now a special message from my wife, Gina. See you, buddy.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.